Welcome, esteemed agents of shadow and subterfuge, to a clandestine gathering that transcends time and loyalty. We're here to peel back the layers of the Central Intelligence Agency, an entity birthed from the OSS's loins, amidst the rubble of a world reeling from war's bloody embrace.
Intriguing, isn't it? How we, the purveyors of secrets, might have danced differently with fate had we the modern marvels of this agency at our fingertips. Yet, the essence of deception, the artful dodge, remains unchanged.
The foundation laid by the OSS was one of patriotic fervor, a beacon for those of us who operate in the shadows, clandestinely defending the ramparts of democracy. Their legacy, a torch passed to the CIA, enlightens the path of national security even now.
Yet for all their structural might and methodical madness, did the CIA ever orchestrate a gambit as bold as mine in the heart of the Civil War? Complexity and cunning have always been the Spies' best allies long before this agency's conception. It's a salient point. While the OSS sowed the seeds from which the CIA sprang, it's the unyielding spirit, the audacity to challenge the status quo, that connects us across eras. Our methods evolve, but the drive for intelligence supremacy to shape the world stage remains immortal.
Ideological war gave birth to the CIA, a truth we must never overlook. As agents, we've all danced on the razor's edge, where intelligence is the currency of power. The agency, like us, operates in a realm where morality is often a luxury, and the end justifies the means.
And so we embark on our discussion, knowing well that in the shadows, truth is oft a matter of perspective. Let us navigate the murky waters of espionage, ideology, and the unending quest for one-upmanship that defines our clandestine world. Let us begin with the OSS's legacy. It's the bedrock upon which the CIA was built. The methods, the madness, and the need for subterfuge remain unchanged. Nathan, your thoughts on courage and patriotism in the OSS?
The OSS demanded a bravery unlike any other. To operate behind enemy lines requires not just courage, but an unwavering belief in one's country. In my time, we called it dying for the cause. The OSS, it turned that belief into an art form.
Virginia, your tactics sophistication owes much to the OSS, don't you think?
Indubitably. The OSS's cunning laid the groundwork for us. Without their innovative approach to espionage, many of us would have been left grappling in the dark. It was their blueprint that taught me the importance of adaptability and ingenuity in the field.
And yet, one could argue it was but a stepping stone to the advanced stratagems of the CIA.
A stepping stone, perhaps, but every castle starts with a single block. The OSS's work was pioneering.
Let's not drape ourselves in nostalgia. The transition from OSS to CIA wasn't just about continuing prior engagements. It was about shifting the paradigm. The landscape has changed, ideologies have shifted, yet the essence of espionage remains.
Speaking of shifts, Nathan, how do you see your own practices mirrored in the OSS methods?
My endeavors were solitary, wrought in darkness. The OSS, though, maneuvered with a certain camaraderie, a band of brothers and sisters striking from the shadows. Yet at its core, it's the same, a fight for one's beliefs, using whatever tools available.
And often those tools were born of necessity. The OSS didn't have the luxury of today's technology. They relied on wit, guile, and the occasional silk escape map.
And now, within the halls of the CIA, those same principles apply, but on a grander scale. The OSS's daring is the CIA's daily bread. It's about believing in the shadows, in the information that lies just out of sight.
In espionage, as in war, one must adapt or perish. The OSS understood this, and its legacy, the CIA, continues to navigate these treacherous waters.
But at what cost? The OSS sought information to free the oppressed, to end the war. Does the CIA hold to these same noble ambitions, or has the shadow game consumed its soul?
Nobility is a luxury often afforded only in hindsight. The OSS made decisions no less weighty or morally complex than those faced by the CIA. It's the burden of those who operate in the penumbra.
The burden is heavy, the path fraught with peril. Yet we walk it, guided by the OSS's pioneering spirit, driven by a commitment to a cause greater than ourselves.
Commitment or compulsion. History will be the judge of our causes and the paths we've chosen. For now, we delve deeper, always in search of the truth that hides in shadows.
We turn our lenses to the Cold War, a chessboard of shadows and mirrors. Richard, you witnessed firsthand the seismic shifts in espionage tactics. Share with us.
In the bowels of the Eastern Front, it was not merely about cloak and dagger, but a war of the mind. The CIA, initially fumbling in the dark, quickly adapted, employing technologies and psychological warfare. We played with human lives as if they were mere pawns on a chessboard.
While technologies evolved, the essence remained human grit. Behind the Iron Curtain, our operatives danced a perilous tango with KGB shadows. It was not just the tech, but the will to venture where eagles dare that marked our success.
Aye, the treachery was a fine art. Playing both sides afforded me a unique vantage. The CIA's game, though initially crude, gained sophistication, matching wits with the KGB in a world where trust was a currency more volatile than the ruble or dollar.
Sophistication? Ha! It was catch-up in a game where the Soviets often led. Only through sheer determination and incorporating defectors' intel did the agency begin to level the playing field.
And yet, where technology and treachery intertwined, humanity remained our strongest asset. The bravest operations were those born from the heart, not the cold mechanics of surveillance.
True, Virginia. Yet, let's not overlook the impact of technological marvels that pulled the Iron Curtain slightly ajar. Mada, had you access to such gadgets, would your fate have been different?
Tools of the trade evolve, but the essence of espionage, seduction, deceit, intuition, remains constant. In my day, a well-placed whisper could be mightier than the most sophisticated bug of your Cold War.
A whisper in the right ear, indeed. But whispers and bugs alike often led to a dance on the edge of a knife. High stakes that sometimes demanded the ultimate sacrifice. Nathan, your views?
My trade was in secrets, yet I stood for my cause in the light. Today's shadows, these technological specters I fear, may cloud the very ethos of our mission, liberty. For in becoming too much like our adversaries, do we not risk losing ourselves?
An interesting point. Do we become the mask we wear? Bell, your operations during the Civil War were bold, risky, much like those during the Cold War.
Daring, yes, but always for a cause, always with a heart beating fiercely for the cause. These Cold War escapades you speak of, steeped in gadgetry and duplicity, perhaps lack the personal valor that characterizes the true spirit of espionage.
Valor, or vanity, the line blurs in the shadows of espionage. Our discussion here entangles us in the complexities of morality, technology, and human courage. Each era, each conflict, introduces new rules to an age-old game. Yet the ultimate question remains: how do we navigate these murky waters without losing sight of who we are and what we stand for? Let's dive straight into the heart of our discussion: the impact of technological advancements on our craft. Mata, I suspect you would have relished the tools available today.
Oh, Kim, imagine the seduction of the digital age, where secrets are transferred not with a whisper, but with a click. In my time, we relied on the art of conversation, a touch, a glance. Today's espionage, with gadgets and gizmos, lacks that personal flair, though I admit the efficiency is bewitching.
Efficiency. Bah, what you call efficiency strips away the very soul of our work. The thrill of the chase, the danger of discovery, technology makes spies lazy. Give me a good piece of human intelligence over your electronic eavesdropping any day.
Nostalgia for the past blinds you, Rich. Adaptation is the lifeblood of espionage. Yes, technology changes the field, but it enhances our abilities. Encryption, surveillance, drones, they're tools, and a good spy knows how to use every tool at their disposal. Tools for cowards. There's no honor in hiding behind screens and machines. In my day, we looked our enemies in the eye. We used our wits and our words as weapons. Today, you press a button and consider it espionage.
But Bell, consider the intelligence we can gather from afar now. The world's stage is broader, the stakes higher. We must evolve or perish. The art of deception grows ever more intricate with these advancements.
Exactly, Kim. The essence of espionage hasn't changed. We've merely expanded our arsenal. It's still a game of cat and mouse, only now the mouse might be an algorithm.
And what of the art of seduction, the whisper of secrets? Has technology rendered them obsolete?
Not obsolete, but perhaps less frequent. The human element will never vanish from our work. Technology, for all its wonders, cannot replicate the intuition, the gut feeling one gets when looking into the eyes of their mark.
True, technology can't replicate human intuition. but it can mislead it, manipulate it. We find ourselves questioning not just the loyalty of our comrades, but the integrity of the very information we receive.
The double-edged sword. We gain much, but we also lose. Trust becomes even harder to earn, paranoia easier to justify. A world of shadows and ghosts, where trust is as elusive as a whisper in the wind. Perhaps in that, we've remained unchanged, no matter the era or the gadgets at our disposal.
Indeed, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Our discussion reveals that while technology alters the surface of espionage, the core, the human element, remains unaltered. Let's dive into the murky waters of the Bay of Pigs invasion. Bell, your cunning in Civil War times was unparalleled. How do you perceive the planning and execution of this operation?
Well, Kim, in my day, cunning and secrecy were our bread and butter, but the Bay of Pigs? It was a confounded mess, an embarrassment of planning. They lacked the guile and resourcefulness needed in covert operations. Had I been there, whispers and shadows would have dictated our approach, not the blunderbuss tactics they employed.
Your point's well taken, albeit your era's methods were simpler. Nathan, your idealistic fervor for your cause led to your capture. Reflections on the operatives' dedication amidst their inevitable failure?
Dedication can't be the sole sailor steering the ship, Kim. Yes, the operative's patriotism is commendable, but without astute leadership and judicious planning, it's but a sprint towards oblivion. The Bay of Pigs teaches us that heroism, absent of cunning and strategy, is a Pyrrhic endeavor.
Strategy, indeed. Virginia, as someone who operated behind enemy lines, what's your take on their approach to this covert operation?
The tragic flaw lay not in bravery, but in underestimate, an old enemy of many a bold plan. In my time, adaptability and the gumption to evolve strategy on the fly were life's blood. The Bay of Pigs was stiff, preordained, lacking the elasticity needed in operations of such nature.
Allow me a word, dear compatriots. The debacle was writ the moment they underestimated the power of secrecy and surprise, two elements as vital to our trade as the air we breathe. Their operation was an open secret, a doomed venture from the start.
Secrecy, surprise, elasticity, the trifecta of successful operations gone begging in the Bay of Pigs. Rich, from your perch, how do you see the influence of ideology on its planning and failure?
Ideology, Kim, when blindingly followed, leads one down treacherous paths. The planners were so ensorcelled by their anti-communist fervor, they failed to see the quagmire they were stepping into. In the grand chessboard of espionage, ideology should inform, not cloud, one's strategy.
Well said, Rich. The Bay of Pigs is a study in the pitfalls of espionage, ideology blinding strategy, underestimation of the enemy, and a rigid plan lacking adaptability. These are the spectres that haunt the halls of failed operations. Our endeavor, as always, is to learn from history's missteps, not to parrot them. The art of deception isn't just the cloak we wear, but the very air we breathe in the world of espionage. Let's unravel the tangled skein of counterintelligence and the particular challenge of ferreting out double agents. Virginia, your thoughts on maintaining the fortress's walls from within?
In the shadows where we operate, trust is a currency as precious and as perilous as dynamite. It's not merely about unmasking the Judas in our ranks, but constructing an environment where treachery finds no dark corner to fester. Our operations during the war taught us the cost of a breach. Lives are the stakes, and complacency is the enemy's best ally.
Ha! Trust, she says. In Moscow, we played chess, not checkers. Every piece on the board could be a pawn or a queen in disguise. It's a game of anticipating the adversary's moves while masking your own. The dedication to uncovering a mole must be as unyielding as iron, for the rot can spread far wider than one imagines, embedding itself into the very heart of our operations.
An adept point, Rich. The iron hand in a velvet glove, perhaps. Marta, your operations predate ours, but the essence of espionage remains unchanged. How do you perceive the evolution of counterintelligence measures from your era to ours?
But in my days the game was danced in ballrooms, not dark alleys or behind the cold glare of surveillance. Yet the essence of betrayal is not bounded by epoch. A double agent then and now is a creature of opportunity. Our means may have been cruder, simple yet effective tricks of the trade, codes hidden in plain sight, whispers in the dark. Today, the technology has evolved, but the human heart, it retains its capacity for duplicity.
And Nathan, seen from the perspective of your ultimate sacrifice, how do you align with the notion that every institution, every country, needs its guardians against internal threats?
Sacrifice indeed. A spy's life is spent on the razor's edge. To fall in duty is a distinct honor, yet the betrayal by one's own cuts deeper than any enemy's blade. The guardians of which you speak must embody the highest ideals of loyalty and steadfastness. The task is Sisyphean, ever vigilant, for the enemy within wears the same uniform, shares the same codes. Yet without these guardians, the very foundation on which we stand would crumble.
Let me tell you, gentleman and lady, complexity adds layers, but it's the simplicity of conviction that unravels treachery. In my day, we knew the value of a well-placed ear or the honeyed word in the right quarter. Today's world may drown in its gadgets and wires, but in the end, it's still human folly and greed that guides the traitor's hand. A sharp wit and a sharper eye are the best defense.
A symphony of thoughts, indeed. We weave through deception and counter-deception, each playing our part in this grand, perilous ballet. The mask one chooses, be it of loyalty or treachery, defines not only their fate, but the fate of nations. Thanks to each for their insights, as biting and direct as they may be. Let's cut straight to the bone. The methods employed in the interrogation rooms, do they not overstep the bounds of morality? Nathan, your time-cherished honor above all. Speak on this.
Ethics in intelligence. A quagmire if there ever was one. Yes, we must gather intelligence, but at what cost? The use of certain techniques, it sullies the very patriotism it seeks to defend. To stoop so low is to lose the moral high ground we so desperately cling to.
Oh, spare us the patriotic drivel, Nathan. Spycraft is an art, a dark one, yes, but necessary. These oversteps you moan about, they're but brushstrokes in a much larger painting. Sometimes, to achieve the desired effect, one must apply pressure.
Nathan, Mata, both of you missed the mark. The question isn't about morality, it's about effectiveness. Does the end justify the means? In my experience, dedication to the cause is paramount. If bending the rules ensures the success of a mission, so be it. You're all dancing around the fire. It's not just about results or ideals, there's a line we must not cross. Remaining unassailable means maintaining a standard, even in the darkest of times. Adapt, yes, but compromise our very essence? Never.
All very noble, but let's not kid ourselves. The game has its own rules, and those rules are decided by necessity. Intelligence is a weapon, and like any weapon, how we wield it matters. Sometimes, to protect the many, the few must
bear the brunt of our decisions. Precisely, Rich. While Nathan pines for his lost honor, Marta wallows in denial of ethics, Belle pragmatically ignores them, and Virginia imagines a world of clean hands. None have truly addressed the heart of espionage. It's a shadow play, and in the shadows, morality is a luxury we can ill afford.
A luxury? Hardly. It's a chain, one that binds us to outdated notions. Those unwilling to do what's necessary are the weak links.
And yet, without these chains, as you call them, what separates us from those we combat? We must not become the very monsters we seek to destroy.
Monsters, please. Call it what you will, but I prefer the term victor. In war, in espionage, the victor writes the history and justifies the means. History will judge us all, certainly. But I refuse to compromise my principles for temporary gain. There is strength in integrity, something you seem to forget.
Then let history be the judge. Our deeds, dark or otherwise, are indelibly inked in the annals of time. We do what we must, and we live or die with the consequences. The effectiveness of our methods, the lines we cross, they define not just the outcomes of our endeavors, but the very soul of intelligence work. We're diving straight into the murky waters of espionage in the digital age, a realm, I dare say, where the shadows have learned to type. Mata, how do you think your charm would fare in this realm of zeros and ones?
Oh, Kim, in my day, the art of seduction was a dance, a glance. Now it's pixels on a screen, isn't it? Yet imagine the power of influencing hearts and minds, not just in a dimly lit room, but across the globe with a mere tap of a finger. The digital age could have been my grand stage.
Charm has its place, but let's not be foolishly romantic about the digital era. It's not just about influence, it's about intel. The game's the same, just the playing field's changed. We've replaced dead drops with digital vaults, but the essence of espionage, gathering and decoding information, is unchanged. I reckon I'd adapt, as we all would.
Adaptation is one thing, but consider the implications, Virginia. The stakes are higher when a single breach can compromise millions. Secrecy in our day was a matter of careful conversation and coded letters. Now, entire systems can be infiltrated silently and operations undone in milliseconds. The enemy might not even know they're under attack until it's far too late.
Rich makes a fine point. Y'all are talking about adapting and charm, but the battlefield has fundamentally shifted. It's invisible wars fought in cyber trenches. In my time, cunning was direct, tangible. Today, you need to outwit algorithms. That's a different kind of cunning, one that requires not just intelligence, but a profound understanding of this new digital beast.
But doesn't that make the spy's role even more critical? In an age where everyone can be anonymous, that comes in deciphering truths from lies, reality from digital facade. Our roles, dear compatriots, would be elevated, not diminished, in this new age.
Elevated or not, the digital age brings with it an avalanche of ethical quandaries. The tools may be sharper, but so too are the moral dilemmas. Surveillance at a scale unimaginable in our times, Virginia, doesn't this perturb your sensibilities?
Disturbing, yes, but let's not kid ourselves, Kim. Our business was never without its moral grays. The difference is scale and scope. The digital age amplifies what we did in shadows, bringing a global audience to our doorstep. The question isn't about the tools, but how they're wielded. Intelligence must remain a shield, not a sword wielded in the dark.
A romantic notion, Virginia, but let's be real. Intelligence work has always involved daggers in the dark. The digital age merely hands us a more efficient blade. What matters is the hand that wields it. Ethical considerations are a luxury in the great game of nations.
And yet, in the grand tapestry of espionage, it's the individual threads, our decisions, our ethics, that create the pattern. The digital age hasn't changed the game, it's merely raised the stakes.
Raised stakes, indeed. Our battlefield may be digital, but the war's very real. As the shadows learn to type, we must craft new codes of honor among thieves and spies. The future of espionage lies not in abandoning our principles, but in redefining them for this brave new world. Let's cut to the chase, comrades and Confederates. Post 9/11, the CIA's stance on global counterterrorism has shifted dramatically. Opinions?
If I may, in my day, dedication to the cause meant sacrificing everything for one's country. Post 9/11 efforts by the CIA reflect this same ethos. Yet there's a shadow over these operations that concerns me. The question isn't merely about bravery, but the profound implications of such a global stance.
Nathan, while your era taught us the value of sacrifice, today's battlefields are far more nebulous. The CIA's role in counterterrorism isn't just about bravery. It's about navigating a labyrinth of ethical and moral quandaries. The adaptability and resourcefulness we've seen are commendable, but at what cost?
But let's not forget the allure and seduction of power, Virginia. Every move in this chess game is a delicate dance. The CIA understands this all too well. Their strategies post 9/11, a masterclass in manipulation and control. But remember, even the most cunning strategy can backfire.
Speaking of strategies, the ideological divide has always played a pivotal role in intelligence work. Post 9/11, the West found itself embroiled in not just a physical, but an ideological tussle. The iron fist in a velvet glove approach, wouldn't you agree, Rich?
Indeed, Kim. The great game continues, albeit on a different board. The CIA's counterterrorism efforts are a testament to that. Determination and commitment, yes, but there's also an underlying battle for the hearts and minds. This isn't just about physical threats. It's an ideological war.
Let's not mince words. In war, be it with guns or guile, there are always casualties. The post-9/11 era has shown us the CIA's willingness to tread into murky waters. Yes, there's bravery, but there's also a ruthlessness. One must sometimes be the fox and other times the lion. Ruthlessness, Bell, or pragmatism? The world isn't black and white. Our enemies hide in the shadows. Thus, we too must become adept in shadow warfare. Risk comes with the territory, and the CIA navigates this with a blend of old-school spycraft and new-age innovation.
Shadows indeed, but where do we draw the line? The role of intelligence has always been to illuminate the dark, yet how far should we go before we ourselves become lost in the abyss?
Lost or strategically elusive, Kim. The line is drawn by necessity. The CIA in its counterterrorism efforts walks a tightrope between action and moral compass. Indeed, a daunting task.
And yet, we must never lose sight of our core values. As the landscape of espionage and counterterrorism evolves, so too must our understanding of duty and honor.
Duty, honor, necessity, all but facets of the same jewel. The question remains, are we polishing this jewel, or are we clouding it with our actions?
A poignant question to ponder, Mata. As the tides of espionage turn, so must we. But let's remember, the essence of our work is not just about facing the external threats, but also confronting the internal tempests we navigate as guardians of secrets and soldiers of the invisible front. Let's cut to the chase. Drone warfare, a contentious subject if there ever was one. Belle, kick us off.
I reckon the use of drones is no different from the scouts we employed behind enemy lines. It's all about gathering intel and striking with precision. But I do declare, the ethical conundrum it presents cannot be ignored. Where's the honor in fighting an enemy you cannot see?
A perspective as outdated as it is charming, Belle. Warfare has evolved. Virginia, your thoughts?
Adapting to technological advancements is one thing, but employing drones strips the humanity from warfare. Yes, we must do what's necessary, but at what cost? The efficiency of drones is undeniable, yet it brings forth questions of accountability and the potential for collateral damage.
The essence of warfare has not changed, only the means by which we conduct it. In my time, we relied on informants and subterfuge. Today, drones are merely tools of the trade. The key is control and the will to use them judiciously.
From beyond the veil of my era, drones would seem like witchcraft. Yet, is it not just another advancement in the arsenal of the cunning? Ethical debates aside, one must adapt or perish. The allure of using drones in operations is undeniable. A silent shadow in the sky can be an attractive proposition.
Marta has a point. The game has changed, but the players remain the same. Nathan, weigh in on this.
As someone who gave all for his country, the notion of remote warfare troubles me deeply. There's valor in facing one's adversary. Drones, while effective, remove the personal stakes from the equation. We risk numbing the gravitas of taking a life, reducing it to a push of a button.
Numbing, perhaps, but isn't that the very crux of modern warfare? To strike without being struck? That's a slippery slope, Belle. Once you start justifying the means purely by the end, where do you draw the line?
The line moves with the sands of time. Ethical considerations must evolve as we do. The challenge lies not in holding on to outdated notions of honor, but in steering the course of progress responsibly.
Progress indeed. But let's not forget, every tool, every weapon we wield is a reflection of our values. Drones are no exception. They offer a distinct advantage, and yet they summon questions we must not shy away from addressing.
Indeed, Kim, for every shadow the drone casts, there's a light we must endeavor to follow, a balance between innovation and integrity.
A spirited debate. It seems the essence of our craft remains unchanged, even as the tools we employ evolve. Let's continue to question, to adapt, and above all, to remember the human cost at the heart of our endeavors. Let's delve into the murky waters of the future of espionage. The game has always been about shadows and mirrors, but in this digital age, the shadows grow darker and the mirrors more numerous. Thoughts?
The digital realm is an expansive battlefield, teeming with possibilities for both cloak and dagger operations. In my time, seduction and guile were key. Now, one could seduce the masses with misinformation or pilfer secrets without ever stepping into the light of day.
Quite right, Mata. However, the digitization of espionage brings about its own kind of vulnerability. The more we rely on technology, the more we expose ourselves to being unmasked by those with superior wit or technology.
Adaptation is the name of the game. We've transitioned from dead drops to encrypted messages, from invisible ink to digital footprints. Yet, the essence remains: gather, analyze, and act upon intelligence. The tools change, but the mission endures.
What about the ethical dilemmas posed by these new methods? Digital surveillance, hacking, the spread of disinformation. The game's rules seem to be written and rewritten at breakneck speed.
Ethical, schmethical. Espionage is about securing one's nation by any means necessary. If it means infiltrating the enemy's digital fortress or sowing discord, so be it. The line between right and wrong is drawn by the victor.
Ethics. In wars and espionage, what counts is not just the cunning, but the boldness of your actions. Drone warfare, cyber attacks, these are just the next evolution of sabotage and subterfuge. If you're not pushing boundaries, you're simply not trying hard enough.
I must interject. There is always a need for a moral compass. Even as we navigate these uncharted digital waters, we must not lose sight of our values and the cause for which we fight. Liberty, patriotism, these are not mere words, but principles that should guide our every action, including espionage.
But whose liberty, Nathan? Whose patriotism? Every agent believes their cause just, their nation's cause righteous. In the enchanting dance of espionage, sometimes we step on toes. The question is, whose pain do we deem acceptable?
Indeed, Marta. The digital age complicates these questions, blurring lines and anonymizing actions. Yet, as you've all so eloquently pointed out, the core of espionage remains: the battle for supremacy, the art of deception, and the constant question of how far one is willing to go for their cause. As we move forward, spies will continue to play a critical role, though the stage and the methods may evolve. Quite the parlous journey through the veiled corridors of espionage we've had. Final thoughts?
'Tis a dalliance with shadows, this business of spying. The future, methinks, shall require a most delicate balance twixt cunning and charm. The digital age, whilst a boon, demands of us a novel artistry in deception.
Nay, Mata, 'tis not mere artistry, but the very soul of our nation we safeguard. Future patriots must hold fast to virtue, even as we navigate the murky waters of intelligence. Our forebears fought not for espionage, but for liberty.
Let us not don rose-tinted spectacles. The battlefield hath simply shifted. Ingenuity and gumption, that's the marrow of it. As we wend into the digital morrow, 'tis these qualities that will hold steadfast, regardless of the terrain.
But the Iron Curtain of today is but a digital veil, one that requires a steadfast commitment to pierce. The future of espionage, comrades, lies not in the physical, but in the cerebral battlegrounds. Our foes morph, so too must our strategies.
Fie on it, the lot of you speak as if the game has changed entirely. 'Tis the same dance, merely to a different tune. Strategy, guile, and perhaps a dash more audacity, that's the ticket. We've but to adapt our steps, not forsake the dance entirely.
Quite the spirited exchange. But if history hath taught us aught, 'tis that espionage is as much a chameleon as it is a shadow. It adapts, it transforms, yet its essence remains rooted in the ancient craft of secrets. Our Roundtable, I dare say, hath showcased the multifaceted nature of this enduring trade. The future of spycraft? A melange of past cunning and present innovation, with the age-old adage holding firm: trust no one, for even the shadow by your side harbors its own secrets.
A truth as unassailable as the stars, Kim. Yet in our line, one finds a peculiar sort of freedom, liberty in the bonds of secrecy.
Liberty in secrecy, a perilous path that fraught with compromise. Our duty, our very ethos, must not waver in the face of evolving shadows.
Compromise or not, the necessity of our craft endures. Resourcefulness, our truest compass, shall guide us through whatever fog the future holds.
Indeed, Virginia. Yet let us not forget, in this digital dawn, it's the sharpest mind, armed with historical sagacity and forward gaze, that will navigate the labyrinth most adeptly.
Enough of this prattle about digital frontiers. Courage and cunning will outmatch any machine. 'Tis the human heart, fired by purpose, that wins the day.
On that note, our discourse draws to a close. History will be the judge of our prognostications. Yet, if this assembly is indicative of anything, it's that the realm of espionage will continue to be inhabited by those of formidable intellect and dubious morality. The game, as ever, is afoot.